The tabletop takeaway.
Game mechanics on display.
Three designers share the stage.
Pick a genre and we'll play.
The tabletop takeaway.
Welcome back to the Tabletop Takeaway. I'm Charlie McCarran,
I'm Trevor Muller-Hagel.
I'm Ananda Gunratna.
and we are continuing our series on drafting games with Biblios. This is a card drafting game, and I picked it because I really enjoy the push your luck type draft that happens. How it works, just a little theme. You're an abbot creating a library of sacred books and things, and you are, on your turn, you pull a card from the pile, and you are deciding if it's going in front of you for building up your library or going to other players in the shared space in the middle that they're going to then take from, or if it's going into an auction pile that is the second phase of the game where we're trying to bid on some of these cards that were left over. But the trick with this push your luck thing is you're going to have 4 cards to do on your turn, but you have to do them one at a time. And one card has to go to you, one card has to go to the auction, and then the other 2 I'm describing a 3-player game right now, would go to the middle for the other 2 players. So then at the end, the scoring is really simple. It's essentially, there's 5 different colors of cards, and you're trying to get the highest total in a color to get the points for that color. And those colors, you can also increase or decrease their values at the end of the game with special cards that come up. And you are also drafting coins that will be used in the auction in the second phase of the game. So, yeah, that push your luck thing, pretty interesting to me, because it gives you this like really tough decision. Each card you pull, is this going to go to me, or do I hold out for a better card for me? And yeah, it's a mechanic I'd like to see in a lot more games. And this feels like kind of like a vanilla type game in terms of like what else is going on. It's basically
sure.
getting points, competing over these colors. Yeah.
Yeah, if it didn't have the auction, it would be probably almost too simple of a game.
Sure.
Like having that auction in there really adds to it a lot. For sure.
And which I didn't describe how the auction works, but basically the second part of the game, we have this big pile and we flip one at a time and then bid with our gold cards to try to get those. So it's like a second way to build up in colors. And we'll talk about this, but a lot of the game is kind of guessing, and you've got some hidden information of the cards you're keeping for yourself. But to me, like, the fun is about like sussing out what colors people might be going for based on what they leave behind.
Or what they improve.
Yeah. So, but curious to hear your guys' thoughts after playing.
I thought that endgame scoring being something you can always kind of see. And so you're vying for these, 5 different types of things. There's 2 different subgroups as well that have different card counts. And so you're kind of given this slightly, intricate puzzle of what's going on while seeing what those things will be worth at the end of the game. And those can improve or get worse as, you play the game. Mine, unfortunately, were targeted because everyone knew I had these 2 cards in my hand. And so, yeah, I did not win. But it was really interesting, like, being able to manipulate that and have fun with that and, kind of its own sub-game, which was kind of fun.
Yeah. I think for me, the thing that stood out the most maybe was the auction, actually. Mm-hmm. Now, I am not a big fan of auctions in general. I have played some games that have auctions that I thought were good, but it often just feels like, well, okay, we're just not putting a price on these things, and let the players figure out the price.
Right.
But one thing this auction did that I really liked was that there's two different types of things that are being auctioned, and they have different costs. So there's cards that do things, and there's money, right? And you bid money on the cards that do things. But when a money card comes up in the auction pile, because the money cards are cards just like everything else,
Right.
so you can assign them to the auction pile and then they'll be auctioned off. You don't bid money on those, you bid cards. And those cards could be other money cards. So like, for example, if you bid one card on a card worth 3, that's a net gain of 2, right? Or they could be cards that you don't think you're going to score for.
Right.
Like you have an orange card and you know that Trevor over here has got like 5 orange cards. And so you think, okay, well, this is worthless, but hey, there's a coin here, so I'm going to auction this off to get that coin. And I thought that was actually really cool because it gives you a way to get rid of useless things. There's something I've noticed in a lot of games is that it's great to give players sort of a a complexity outlet, somewhere they can dump things they don't care about, turning them into something useful.
Oh yeah.
And
Like in Seven Wonders.
Yeah, I was
that
just
we
gonna
just
say,
played.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
With the wonders.
Yeah,
Or money. Yeah.
right. And I think this style of auction provides a really cool complexity outlet because you spend your resources to get cards you like, and then you can dump cards you don't care about for
get
more
more money.
resources.
Yeah.
And I can definitely see a lot that you could do playing around with that sort of system.
Yeah.
So I think that's my takeaway is having auctions where there's different things going up for bid. Having an auction where there's different things going up for bid and you can spend in both directions, rather than auctions where it's always one type of resource for a different type. Let bid with resource A on resource B and then bid with resource B on resource A.
Yeah, like
allow
back and
both,
forth.
Yeah, both directions. I think that provides a complexity outlet for games.
Yeah, and I actually at one point had purchased a card in a suit I didn't really want, and at the end I was thinking like, oh man, I should have used this to get a different money card so I'd have more money so I could spend it to buy something else, but I just never did it, and I was like, shoot, I should have done that earlier. But yeah, it does provide more opportunity to be flexible with what you have going on.
And yes, and actually, you know what? I just a random connection I just made is with the trade mechanics in Oath, because in Oath you have also 2 resources. You have books or secrets. You have secrets and you have favors, and you spend favors to gain secrets, and you spend secrets to gain favors. And I can imagine a game where, similarly, you have 2 types of resources, and you sort of escalate what you have by trading one for the other, and then the other for the first one.
What's also interesting is that the money itself is both resources, and so you can actually use the money to buy money or to buy non-money.
Yeah.
Which I think is really clever and just a very simple way to have that going on.
Yeah. I like that idea though of the double resources that you use to get. Yeah. Cool. I was realizing this game probably inspired one of my games, Surplus of Sloths. How the scoring works, because I really like that idea that each color is worth a certain value at the end of the game, and they're not like exciting values. They're actually represented by dice that you don't
6.
roll, but they start at 3 and then you can tick them up or down, which is another cool way like to give players the ability to increase or decrease their values of what something's going to score. Not only it feels kind of cool because you're multiplying your own, well, not in this case multiplying, but you're increasing your potential score, and you're giving some clues away to other players though,
right.
which is a interesting twist.
I'm not sure if we mentioned it fully, but all the cards are hidden except for the 2 cards that are put in front of everyone for the other people to
the
pick
draft.
up for the
Yeah.
for the non-main character draft.
Yeah.
Most of the information in the game is hidden.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I will say I was not a huge fan of.
But also I can see like why having everything be revealed may make it almost too easy to see what someone would want to adjust on, like, those point dice.
Yeah. I just felt kind of like I was in the dark.
Yeah.
a lot
Right.
of the game.
Except everyone knew what Trevor had because Trevor kept getting those cards.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. As you mentioned, like, we just played the memory series, and this is a memory game in a way.
Yeah.
Because you do have to remember, like, in Trevor's case, seeing a lot of greens going to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I could see this game having... they probably tried it where people get the cards that are going to yourself as public. And I bet that version was way more talky and funny, my guess. Because, like, that's the downside of having it hidden, is you're not really getting the maximum value out of a push your luck game, because, like, push your luck is real fun when everyone sees what's
Everyone's
happening.
involved.
Yeah.
And, like, they see you failing at it.
Right. And I had no idea what was going on aside from the 2 public cards.
And you want to mask your emotions too, so people don't
Yeah.
know what you got.
Right.
So you're
Yeah.
actually
Yes.
less engaged with each other,
Right.
which is interesting.
Yeah, it discourages. You're right. That's a really good point, Charlie. That is a big part of the fun of Push Your Luck.
Oh yeah, the whole
Which-
group. Gambling. That's why people gather around craps tables and things.
Yeah,
Like,
the game robs you of some of the context that you need to fully appreciate what's going on.
Yeah. And maybe, like, the auction pile could be face up in a way too.
I think something needs to be face up.
Something else.
some information.
Yeah, doesn't necessarily need to be the auction pile. Well, okay, we're not. This is not a game development session.
This is not rules and rants.
But I mean, yeah, it is an interesting design question. Like, how much info do you want hidden in your game, or how much can you get away with being revealed publicly before it just becomes boring?
Before it plays itself, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, if we saw that Trevor was leading on greens...
Well, and then I'd know when to stop on green as well.
Yeah, you would. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it... I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It is. What's my takeaway? I think... I think for me, I said it already, but the idea that you are going one at a time through the deck is just a mechanic I think should be in more games, where it's like you reveal one thing at a time, decide where it goes, but you're going to have to do like 3 different things with those cards. It's just such a clever thing that I want to try to incorporate into something else.
Well, and strangely, my takeaway is piggybacking off of that pretty thoroughly, because I was really skeptical at first of every turn we would have to make 4 decisions. It's like, oh my God, you have to decide 4 times, but then it doesn't, right? Because you can only do one thing once. And so it's like, okay, well, the first one is 4, then 3, then 2, then it's automatic. And so being okay with being flexible about how many times something happens like that, I was really worried about the decision space. And it turns out you don't have to be worried about that as long as you have, like, you're not doing 5 decisions for every card that you draw. Like, if you put all 5 or 4 or whatever into the into your hand or into, like, the public area, it's like, well, that definitely ruins it. So I think, yeah, being able to have that kind of limitation where it starts dwindling with each additional one you play, I think that's a really nice, elegant way to have more decisions in one turn.
Yeah.
Because you refine the decision as the turn goes on.
Yeah, and off of that idea, like, I guess this does work real well because the game is so simple
Right.
in terms of you're just trying to collect colors and numbers.
There's 5 colors.
Yeah.
They have some numbers on them between 2 and 3 different numbers.
Well,
Yeah.
three of the dice are 1 to 2, and then the other ones are 2 to 4.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it can really, like, when you see a 3 or a 4 come out, like, when it's all mostly 1s and 2s, you get really excited about seeing that.
Yeah.
I imagine, because I did not get to see one.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, in a more complex game, maybe it would be a lot of decision space, but it's still a real simple thing to do on your turn. So, yeah.
And in hindsight, I realized during the auction phase, I could have definitely gotten rid of some of my green, because I had both of the possible green 2s.
Yeah.
And then probably more than half of the green 1s.
Yeah, and you
Like, there's no way anyone would have that.
Yeah, you schooled us on orange also. So
Right.
yeah, that is another real fun thing that also inspired me for Surplus of Sloths, drafting, very simple drafting game I made, but the idea that you need just enough in that color to win is kind of that idea.
So yeah, I probably had
It's pretty
4
cool.
cards I could have traded with, or 5.
Yeah. And it's
and been
another
fine.
it's another type of push your luck where it's like
Right. Do I want to get rid of that? What if Ananda, because he was going for that originally.
Yeah.
Then I see him like spending cards to get more money, and like, oh, maybe he doesn't have those anymore.
yeah.
Oh, I was with the money. I was mostly getting rid of like 1s to get 2s and 3s, so
Yeah.
you guys couldn't dump cards you didn't want.
Oh, sure.
Because like if I spend 2 1s to get a 2, that's not it's not a gain for me.
Right.
But it does mean you can't ditch 2 useless cards to get money,
Sure.
which preserves my buying power relative to you.
Interesting.
Not that it helped me in the end, but I did very well on money.
Yeah, you did. You
Yeah.
had a surplus left.
Yeah.
Well, and to put it in context, the end game points were I had 6.
I had 5.
I had 4.
Sure. Yeah. So the game's it's low score type of game, but yeah, I guess that's another thing that would it be more satisfying? I always think about this just psychologically. Would it be more satisfying if our scores were higher, even if it didn't have
If it's a D10
anything-
instead of a D6.
Yeah, a D10 and the bumps go like 2
Plus
at
2 or
plus
plus-
2.
3 of them go up +1. Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's just
And then we theme it after casinos. And then, wait, okay.
yeah. Yep. It's one of those like psychological, oh, it's only 99 cents. Cool.
Right.
I'll buy that.
I mean, I
Rather
would
than
probably buy
$1.
anything that's 99 cents these days.
Oh.
Yep. So, any final thoughts?
I mean, I need to go make an auction game now. Because
Yeah.
this has given me a great idea, for one. I do not have time to make an auction game.
I know, right? No, I really do appreciate the 4, 3, 2, 1 of your actions every round. Like, that's really slick in my opinion. And I would love to play around with that in some game at some point.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Till next time when we play
The Banishing. Hey, thanks for listening to The Tabletop Takeaway. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. So please tell your friends and visit our website at thetabletoptakeaway.com, where you can suggest games and mechanics for us to cover next on the show.